Hey everyone, Tim with Collect Jurassic. I am back with another Mattel Jurassic World Dino Trackers unboxing. This is one I've been waiting on for a while. I'm not sure why it took so long to get here, but we finally have the Dino Trackers T-Rex toy ready to unbox, review, do comparisons, all that stuff today. This is the Hunt and Chomp Tyrannosaurus Rex. Think of it as Mattel's featured T-Rex this year with the electronics and all that, the sounds, all that good stuff. In terms of some new action features and some other stuff. So the Hunt and Chomp Tyrannosaurus Rex here is a desert dinosaur, which is cool. You know, all the Dino Trackers this year sort of have that biome theming, and they're giving T-Rex desert, which is cool. They could have given it jungle and done a very, you know, derivative paint job of something we've already gotten. So happy to see them give it something a little bit different. So the Dino Trackers box we're pretty familiar with at this point. Blue and beta, cool kind of techie mixed with biome. Got the logos on there. We also have some instructions on the figure itself, as well as other Dino Trackers figures you can buy, how to use the Fax app, all that good stuff. Like this side of the box with the extension of the desert background. Kind of fun here. But yeah, T-Rex does come with that. It's a tail popped on, so we'll have to pop that out. This is definitely the first T-Rex box in a while that's a feature Rex that doesn't have the tail attached. I don't think any of them ever had the tail unattached, but this figure right here does have the tail unattached, sort of like the Extreme Chomp and T-Rex figures, which we'll do a comparison to, of course. Let's see what we have to get out here. Looks like there's going to be are the feet, I can't tell if the feet are clipped in or what, but maybe they're just held in by this tail that's held into the package very tightly. So the tail's coming out. Now T-Rex is still not coming out, which makes me feel like it is somehow attached down here at the feet. So we'll just go ahead and pop the bottom open, hopefully pretty painlessly. Well, I say painless, but I don't think it's gonna be. Oh, I know what I can do. We can just pop this side out. Gotta have to say goodbye to my pretty little desert motif that I like in order to open this box up and get to the bottom. So you'll see here that the Rex has some foot ties in here. So if we just, wow, this is gonna be a hard one to get out. All right, there's the foot. And then the other foot, of course, is also tied in. So we'll hopefully just twist that here without cutting myself. Oh, man. I swear, these toys get harder and harder to open, which is obnoxious. Twisting that right. There we go. All right. Rexy's body is finally free. Jeesh Louise. I'm telling you, these toys just get more and more ridiculously packaged every year. Yet they have those toys in the store, like those Spider-Man toys and those Space Jam toys, where kids are always stealing the heads. Why don't they put those under ridiculous packaging? How come our dinosaurs are so overly packed when they're not getting stolen, I don't think, like those other toys. But let's go ahead and get this. Ooh, this guy's got some very firm feet. Go ahead and push his tail. Oh, push his tail on here. I think, is there a right way or a wrong way? I can't tell. Always makes me nervous to put these in. I think it does twist all the way though, right? No, there's definitely a right way and a wrong way to do this. So we're going to take this nice and slow. And we're going to put it on. Going to put it on like that, or we're going to put it on like that? That's the question. Again, there's really no. Oh, I see. No? No? I don't know. They don't really give you any guidance here for the best way to put the tail on, but oh yeah. It does twist around once you get it on, but I'm going to go ahead and put it like, I think I'm going to put it like this. So now she should balance. There is the Hunt and Chomp T-Rex without the harness here. A little bit bigger than I was expecting. Seeing it in box with its tail on, it seemed so small, but now that I have it out, I can see it's a little bit bigger. First things striking me off the bat are that awesome paint job they did with the desert. Of course, it ends in the tail, which looks pretty goofy. And you know, I really think of bait and switch when you put it in the box with the tail covered up, and then when you put the tail on, and then, you know, the paint job, this cool stripe doesn't run, at least down to the mid-level of the tail, I think would be cool. So a little disappointed with that, because it does look cool on top here. I just think it would look better if it went all the way to the tail, but it kind of gives away to regular, just cast plastic. So pretty sparse on the paint details here. There's not even like an underbelly paint or anything like that. They did paint the claws, which is appreciated. Didn't paint the front claws. And then the head has really nice dark kind of circles around the eyes, and the eyes themselves are cool because they're sort of orangey red, which is a little different. And then in the mouth, we have the sculpted like plastic tongue and gums. And the teeth I love are the little rubber formed teeth instead of painted teeth, so they can take a little bit of abuse and not have any paint rub or anything like that. So paint wise, again, pretty simple. One thing it does have is this marbling plastic that a lot of the figures started to have during Dominion. Sometimes it looks really nice and adds a little texture. Sometimes it looks a little like they're sick. This guy looks like he has a giant bruise on his tail. He's also got this weird little paint splotch on his jaw too, which really sticks out. I mean, I don't really mind this sort of swirly faded stuff, but this kind of weird spot on his jaw, it almost looks like a mistake, but it's not. It's just the randomness of the factory adding in that plastic swirling. So I think that covers the paint job. As terms of detail, I mean, this thing's no more, no less detailed than a normal T-Rex figure from Mattel. It looks like it's the more or less derivative of the same sculpt that we've been having for a while now, which is a great sculpt. They do a great job with their T-Rex, so nothing new to report here for that. Action feature-wise, this one, let's just check out the articulation really quick. It does have the arms that go back and forth, and that's it. They don't pivot out or anything like that. Literally just back and forth. I think I covered that the tail is on a ball joint and kind of rotates up and down and side to side, and as well as rotates this way too if you'd like. And the legs look like they might be some of those legs that, yep, they don't articulate independently, which definitely makes this toy a little bit harder sell for toy photographers because you're not going to be doing any running poses or anything like that. I mean, I'm trying here, and it's just, it wants to move them as one. It never wants to make them move independently, which is probably because they want you to keep the figure sort of like, they want you to be playing with it like this and not making one of the legs move all the time. So that kind of ties into the action feature, which is this button on top here, hidden in the paint. When you press it down, you can see he kind of does a double bite. Lots of different roars. So if you press it slow, he kind of does one bite, and then another bite, and then another one bite, and then another bite. And if you press it fast, he just does one big snap. So lots of little roars there. And then again, yeah, slow gets you double chomps. 1, 2. So he does lots of snapping, not so much roaring, but just... And I'm struck by how short the sounds are, probably to kind of sync up with how quick the action is. He's not doing any long roars because he's just quickly snapping his jaws. And I noticed too, if you just touch it lightly, the sound doesn't always activate. You gotta press it down to get that sound. So, kind of interesting action feature, right? I definitely would not peg that among my favorite featured T-Rex action features. It's just a very simple action, and not even one that feels super smooth like the Indominus I just reviewed. That action feature felt like it would never break. This one feels a little delicate, and it kind of doesn't always snap the way you want it to. Or if right now I'm pressing the button down and nothing's happening, so it doesn't always catch either. So yeah, kind of interesting. What is also a bonus about this Rex, though, is that it is part of Dino Trackers, so it does come with the harness. And this one looks really cool for the T-Rex. Like all the other ones, it's this really nice soft rubber that doesn't scratch up your dino. It has lots of cool details like fabric straps, and it looks like there's like a little optical thing on this side with wires coming out. I mean, all the Dino Trackers gear they've had this year has been really fun. And I think you just put this around Rexy's head like so. Let me see if I can pull this strap in under the chin. That's what's cool too, is they all have like a tightening strap too, which helps keep them in place, I guess. So we're going to go ahead and stick him upside down so I can get this. It's kind of like putting on a belt. You do need a little bit of room to pull on it to get it to really, yeah, see, it's not locking. Or maybe I have the, am I doing it too far down the body? I guess I could look at the box and see. It looks like it actually goes way, I'm way off on this. I'm looking at the package here and I see that I have it way too far up on the head. So we're going to go ahead and bring it down. Sorry, Rexy, my bad. Trying to put this thing on your nose when that's not where it goes. Go ahead and get this fun belt started again. Woof. And then we'll just pull it tight. Now it's over a notch. And now, yeah, I think that's how it goes. So there's Rexy looking all Terminator. Looks pretty simple from this side, right? Just with that cross strap. But on this side, you get the full head. I think that's eye is meant to do that. Let me look at the packaging one last time. Yeah, it's exactly what it's supposed to do. Its eye is supposed to kind of poke through that part of the harness. So it's kind of like visible there. So then in the front, you can see how it lays on there. So yeah, I mean, all the Dino Tracker gear is kind of fun this year. Kind of far-fetched, but in a fun way that they've added. So, you know, the Indoraptor also has it. Some of the bigger figures you can see on the shelf behind me have it. And Indominus Rex didn't have it, which is too bad because that would have been cool. But at least the T-Rex has it, which is nice. So let's go ahead and do some comparisons though, because I do want to make a couple comments on the size of this thing, because it is a little bit different in terms of the size compared to some of the feature T-Rexes we're used to. So you can already hear the Thrash and Devour T-Rex coming in. This is the Dominion T-Rex. Pretty standard size for a feature T-Rex from Mattel. You know, not quite 2 feet, but pretty long figure. It's got the nice large head on this version that lets it swallow figures, but get an idea of the proportional feet and all that. And then you take a look at it next to this new feature T-Rex. And granted, Dominion T-Rex head is huge, but this one is still on the smaller side. I mean, it's definitely way shorter in length. It's a tad bit shorter in height. Probably can't notice that on camera, but it's definitely shorter in height. And then, yeah, that head size. I mean, again, the Dominion Rex head is a little bit oversized, but it's far bigger than the this new Dino. God, why am I blanking here? The Dino Tracker's head is just much smaller, but I do love how this one has a different colored eye. That's really cool. So you can see the size differences there. And if we bring up something a little more comparable, I think we're going to bring up this extreme damage version of the Rex. I mean, this clearly to me is a little bit more, actually it's a lot of bit more like the same size kind of figure. So it's almost like they've brought down the size of the feature Rex from where they've been since Fallen Kingdom and sort of taken it and made it this size of T-Rex, Extreme Chompin, versus, you know, trying to do a full-size Rex, which is interesting that they didn't go something a little bigger, but they still packed electronics and action features into this. So you can see, I'll go ahead and get Dominion out, but you can see the size differences there. Whereas these guys are essentially, I mean, this is essentially the same sculpt. The legs are positioned the same. The tail swoops the same. The sculpt detail looks very similar across both of them in terms of what their, you know, detail looks like on their face. This one has a little bit more detail for sure, but not a whole lot more. They have the same height. I mean, they just look very much like the same figure. So if you're trying to get an idea of how big this new Dino Trackers T-Rex is, I'll tell you that it's about the size of any of these Epic Damage T-Rexes they've come out with, or Extreme Chompin, or whatever. They've come out with plenty of different ones, plenty of different colorations, all the same size. Think of this one as basically that same size, just with those electronic roars and that action feature. But it does scale nicely with the Indominus Rex here. I mean, the Dominus Rex was already on a little bit on the small side compared to the other T-Rexes, but when you put him next to this one, he looks suitably larger, right, than the T-Rex. It should be bigger than the T-Rex. So the new Dino Trackers figures are at least consistent in scale in that regard, that the new Indominus is bigger than the new T-Rex, for sure. I mean, definitely taller and longer. So that way the sizing is appropriate. But you know, to a human, you know, we'll get the Dino Trackers guy in here, still appropriately large and menacing, just not quite. It's almost like a sub-adult T-Rex, not quite as big as you'd want your T-Rex to be. It's sort of a smaller T-Rex, so it's kind of fun. So kids will probably get a kick out of this one. I do think the action feature needs a little bit of polish. It's just a little janky sounding, not like that Indominus Rex. So if you had to choose between the two, I would not hesitate to get that Indominus Rex over Hunt and Chomp T-Rex over here. But it is Mattel's latest and greatest T-Rex, so I'm sure it'll be on shelves everywhere because they love a good T-Rex toy. So look out for this one soon in stores, and right now you can grab it on entertainmentearth.com, and I'll put the link to all the places you can shop for these new Jurassic toys in the caption. So but yeah, I think that's all I got for the Hunt and Chomp T-Rex. I hope you enjoyed this review. Definitely like and subscribe to my channel to see tons of other Jurassic reviews, both toys and collectibles. But until next time, I'm Tim Collect Jurassic, and that's all I got.